So context-wise, Krishna was only 1 year old at this time. So meaning, when if you remember the 10th canto, the flow is that first Mother Bhumi in the form of cow, she goes to Lord Brahma, saying that I'm not able to bear all these demoniac people on the earth planet, causing so many disturbances, not following religious principles like that. So then Brahma takes all the demigods to the shore of the milk ocean and prays to Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. And then that time, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu reveals in Brahma's heart that don't worry, I will take care, I will come and descend myself to protect the devotees and annihilate all the demons, and then also to establish religious principles. So all of you demigods, please tell all the demigods, so they can also go and take positions in the earthly planet, so they can participate in my pastime. So that is how the whole 10th canto starts. And then we hear in the previous chapters how Krishna was in the womb of Devaki, and yesterday I think, right, we're discussing about the prayers of demigods in the womb of when Krishna is in the womb of Devaki. And then after that, the next chapter describes about how Krishna was actually appeared in this planet. And then the following chapter describes how Putana demon was killed by Krishna. That time actually Krishna was only 6 days old. That pastime also is amazing because Krishna is so small, but he can exhibit so much opulence of killing such a big demon like that. He doesn't have to expand his form to kill a demon or expand his form to show the strength. We'll see the same thing in this pastime also. Krishna can be in the same form, but he can exhibit his opulences. So he has so many mystic opulences. We'll see in this pastime also now. So that is about the Putana demon. Putana demon represents a false guru, is described by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, pseudo gurus. And then the coming pastimes, that was about 6 days old. Krishna was 6 days old, right? So then Krishna was about 3 months old when the Shakatasura, the card demon tried to attack him, and he tried to take care of it. One of the Radhesham Prabhu describes one of the Acharya commentary. It's a nice thing I'm sharing. I was hearing today. So just to be brief context about the card demon, what happened was Mother Yashoda was celebrating a festival, and then she kept the Krishna under a cart that is full of loads of things, loads of vessels that were there at home. So then nobody was there with him. But then cart demon was trying to attack Krishna. So Krishna touches with his little feet, just 3 months old, you can imagine. Just touches the cart demon by lifting his leg, and then that whole cart crashes. Everything comes down. Everything goes here and there like that. So the interesting thing about this pastime is again the Acharya's commentary that describes what does this demon represent? Cart demon. Cart demon represents the load-carrying mentality, the mentality of doing self-created duties. Prabhupada calls it self-created duties in that section of the purports. That means doing lots of material duties left and right, but not thinking about Krishna consciousness, not thinking about what is the goal of life. Why am I doing all these things? Is it contributing to my goal or not? Generally, when we do office work also, we do it for a goal. I can do all sorts of work, keeping myself all day busy. But if I don't do the right work, my boss will not give promotion. Because my boss, what he wants to please his boss. If I don't do the work that my boss needs to please his boss, whatever I do is of no consequence to my boss, right? So similarly, we create all sorts of material duties. I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to respond to this WhatsApp message, I need to respond to this Facebook message, I need to see this, I need to see this. All those things we can create. But if it's not helping towards our ultimate goal of being Krishna conscious and serving Krishna, then they're all of no use like that. That is one lesson we can take from this pastime Radhesham Prabhu was describing. And another lesson is that we might be another thing is laziness and distraction. So those are also not suitable for practicing devotees, because when we are lazy, then we don't practice our devotion service properly with the right sincere Tivra Bhakti. We're all meant to do Tivra Bhakti. That means intense devotion. So then if you're relaxed in practicing our morning sadhana, chanting, hearing, reading, and deity worship in the morning, then naturally that laziness will affect the whole day for us. That means our consciousness is affected. So we cannot be properly Krishna conscious. So that's how laziness, we should not let devotees, laziness should not, we should not let the laziness affect our regulation in terms of devotion service. For example, one of the cure for laziness is mode of goodness, cultivating mode of goodness. So by cultivating mode of goodness, by keeping things clean around us, by trying to follow a schedule, by being regulated in that way, then what happens is this laziness doesn't have any space in our life. Prabhupada used to say, my devotees don't have time for Maya, because he kept the devotees so busy. This service, that service, that service, that service. There's no time to think about Maya. How can I enjoy? No thought. How to serve only, they're always thinking. So that is the way devotees also, we keep ourselves busy with our schedule is packed. Services, sadhana, taking care of practical needs for our family, for our body, for our mind. We need the recreation also. Recreation is also part of the schedule. But to take care of our body and mind so that we can serve Krishna nicely. So like that, our services, we pack it up. That is the laziness portion. And similarly, distractions also. Distractions is actually, getting distracted is a mode of passion tendencies usually, getting distracted. So that means when we cultivate mode of goodness, then also we can reduce our going to the distractions. Distractions always will come. But whether we respond to it, how do we respond to it is what determines based on how we are practicing our devotion service. Of course, mode of goodness is also not the ultimate goal. Mode of goodness is also the middle step, because that helps, is conducive towards transcendence beyond the modes. So, but mode of goodness is helpful for us. So that's why distractions also we avoid in our life. So that's a one lesson we can see. And sometimes we think, oh, I know my goal of life. I am practicing Krishna consciousness. So this is talking about all the other people. They don't know goal of life. They're doing all sorts of things. That's what this is talking about. We'll think, because I was talking about the first lesson is that self-created duties, creating material duties like that, right? But as practicing devotees, we can also evaluate ourselves. I know I need to be serving Krishna always, but how many areas I'm doing that? How many areas my consciousness is to serve Krishna, please Krishna? It's obviously for all of us are developing. So we can all evaluate and then see that applies to me also. Because I may be doing so many things that are not pleasing to Krishna. Sometimes we do things that are harmful for our devotion also. So most of you might have read Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction. The first two verses talks about 6 qualities that we should avoid. So first verse talks about how controlling of senses and mind, right? So those things are important. And then second verse talks about 6 things that will destroy devotion. Atyahara, over-accumulation of wealth, over-accumulation of food, overeating food also. Prayasa, that is mundane endeavor for mundane things like that. Atyahara, prayasasta, prajalpa, mundane talking, for no reason talking like that. Atyahara, prayasasta, prajalpa, niyamagraha. Niyamagraha means 2 meanings are described by Prabhupada in the purport. One is not following, neglecting the rules and regulations, not following them at all. Oh, Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana. He looks at my intention. I don't need to follow any rules. That is one extreme. Another extreme is I'll follow every rule as if it's a nice rule. I'll follow properly. But then I lose the essence. Why am I following? That means we are meant to follow all these rules of devotion service to please Krishna. And that is why to be practicing. But if I lose that and I follow Ekadasi because it will make me slim, I follow Ekadasi because it is healthy, that's not the ultimate goal, right? Of course, there is a side benefit. But like that, anything that we do, we should keep the goal in mind. Why we are doing, purpose of that is also another meaning of Niyamagraha. Atyahara prayasasya prajalpa niyamagraha janasangasya laulabcha, right? Janasangasya means non-devotee association. That's also very harmful for us. Does that mean that we don't go to office, we just sit in a room? It doesn't mean that. It means, Janasanga means, generally association means where love and heart is engaged fully. So we don't engage heartful conversations with non-devotees, meaning, oh, you know what? I'm going to do Kartik Vrata. I'm going to do this Kartik. We don't need to share with them. First of all, they don't have so much faith in Krishna, so much faith in Krishna consciousness. Why do you want to share our heart with them? They will only discourage us. They will tell, why are you doing that? It doesn't make any sense. They will reduce our faith only. Like that, heartfully sharing with them or confidentially inquiring from them. That is like in the 4th verse of Nectar of Instruction, it talks about 6 kinds of loving exchanges, right? So those we are not doing with heart engaged fully, especially Guhyamakya Pachati, confidentially inquiring, confidentially sharing, those things we don't do with non-devotees like that. So that is Janasanga. That is also harmful for devotional service. Then there is a Laulyamcha. Laulyamcha, greed for material things. That means I want to become CEO of the company. It's okay to have some aspirations, but then the greed should not be such that my endeavor for that aspiration should not take me away from devotional practices, should not take me away from the goal, should not. Generally, all of us have a limited amount of time, energy, and enthusiasm. We don't have unlimited time, unlimited energy, unlimited enthusiasm. So we need to conserve it to endeavor as much as required. And as much as required, what does it mean? Each of us is different for us. Somebody will be happy with a small home, one car, or some simple means for living. Somebody may think, I need 3 cars, I need 2 homes, then only I'll be happy. So like that, each of us is different. But we need to calibrate ourselves time to time. As we grow in devotional service also, our needs change. That's a good thing actually. Needs reduce as we grow in devotional service. So we need to calibrate our needs and do only as much as our needs are required so that we can peacefully practice Krishna consciousness. That is our main goal. For example, I don't have a job, I cannot chant. I'll be thinking, should I talk to this devotee to get my job? I should have applied to this company. That's only my goal. I will not be thinking about Krishna. But if I have a peaceful job to work on, then I'll think about Krishna. So that is my need right now. I need to have a job to work. So that much we need to endeavor for, like that. So like that, the reason I was telling about this verse is, we devotees think I'm not doing any material things, so this is not for me. But we need to calibrate. Am I doing any harmful things for my devotional service? Like that, we need to check ourselves. So that is the Shakadasra pastime. Sorry, I went in the context itself. I gave the lessons from the pastime. But let's go to this one. Next is, that was 3 months age of Krishna. Now he's just 1 year old, Krishna. One thing we remember when you are hearing Krishna's pastime is Krishna is Supreme Lord. And Krishna is transcendental to all the modes of nature. That means he may be 6 months, 3 months doesn't mean anything. He is Supreme Lord really. Still, in any position, he is always Supreme Lord. He might come in the form of a fish, he might come in the form of a tortoise, he might come in any form, small dwarf Brahmana, but still he is a Supreme Lord, no matter what. That's one thing we need to remember always. And then he's beyond the modes of nature. That means we cannot see Krishna's activities like how I would do, how my friend is doing, why is he doing that? He's really mad at him. That's why he's doing this. We should not calculate according to how we do things. Krishna Supreme Lord is transcendental, like that. That's another thing we need to remember when we're reading the past tense of Krishna. So now, the 10th canto, 7th chapter, text 18, that's where the Krishna, this pastime starts. So I'll read that that sloka, and then we'll read some translations and discuss about them. So, Ekadaroham arudham lalayanti sutam sati garimanam sisorvodhum nasehe giri kutavat. So the translation reads, one day, a year after Krishna's appearance, Mother Yashoda was patting her son on her lap. But suddenly, she felt the child to be heavier than a mountain peak, and she could no longer bear his weight. So, Lalayanti is described in the purport that how Krishna, Mother Yashoda was nurturing Krishna, was showing affection to Krishna. How? In 3 ways. One is by lifting her child, by throwing in the air, and then by catching hold in hands, and then the child is laughing, and mother also is enjoying pleasure like that. So this we commonly see, many devotees also, many people do it, right? So this is a loving exchange between the child and the father or mother, like that. So that's what she's engaging in. If somebody who doesn't know the child, if they throw it there, they'll cry. But if mother or father does it, or somebody who knows them, who loves them, child knows that this person loves me, then they'll accept and they'll be happy, smiling like that. They'll be giggling, smiling like that, right? So that's what is being described. And it's also described that she was giving breast milk and she was kissing him. Like that, she was showing affection to Krishna, it seems, at this time. So then, before the, now actually Krishna is enjoying this, it seems, like throwing up and catching him like that. Another thing Radhesham Prabhu describes that actually by these mothers actually show them that when you're in danger, I'll protect you. Like that, by throwing, is in danger for some time, right? And then she's catching. So I'll protect you like that. So that's why Mother Yashoda was also chanting mantras to protect the child. Or we hear about in previous chapters also that she was using cow urine and cow's tail to chant mantras and to keep him safe, like that. Mother is always wanting to protect the baby. So like that, she extends her protection to baby. So in this verse, then Krishna got a desire, it seems, here, when Mother Yashoda was lifting her. Oh, this is a nice ride, nice thing like that. I want to enjoy more. I want to go even more high in the sky. Like that, he was thinking, it seems. But then at the same time, he remembered, he understood that this is a time when Kamsa will send a demon. His name is Trnavarta. He's a whirlwind demon like that. So he knows that Trnavarta demon is a time for Trnavarta demon to come. So see Krishna's heart and nature we can understand from Bhagavatam. He was thinking, if the demon comes and while I'm still in my mother's hands, Trnavarta demon will harm my mother because he wants to snatch away myself from my mother's hands. So he will harm my mother, number one. Number two, she'll feel so bad if the child goes from her own hands itself, like that, to some demon. So he was considering like that. So while considering like that, he manifested one of his mystic opulences that he have. Krishna is called Yogeshwara. That means he is the master of all yogas, all mystic powers. He is the master. So he manifests one of the mystic powers. What is that called? Is also called Aishwarya Shakti, one of the opulences, Aishwarya Shakti. Then in the later purport, it's called Mahima. When Trinavarta goes up, Mahima Shakti is described. Mahima, one of the Siddhis. That's what he describes. So he became very, very heavy. So Mother Yashoda could not hold him anymore. Then she keeps him aside because she could not hold. Generally, when we could not hold somebody, we have to either leave him. That's the usually option. Or they need to go, one of those two. So she keeps him aside. That time, that's what this verse is talking about. In the next verse, Mother Yashoda, now Trinavarta demon came at this right time. And he started to take Krishna for a ride. So he created the whirlwind demon. His whirlwind demon, right? He created a whirlwind. So like storm came, basically. So it's described lot of dust because of the wind, so much wind, right? Lot of dust went everywhere and people could not see anything. Like that is described. Actually, the next verse is described that also, I think. Yeah. Yeah, the verses discuss Rajasam, Tamasam, like that also. It's coming probably. Yeah, okay. So, but this verse is describing. So, so now she kept the Krishna down, and then this demon took away right away, basically. Now, when Trinavarta took him up in the sky, Krishna actually took so that demon can lift him. He actually manifested in other opulence, other mystic siddhi is that he became lighter than even feather also. That's why the Trinavarta demon could carry him easily. So then when he went up all the way up, it's described he went up to 800,000 kilometers, it seems. So when he went up to 800,000 kilometers, so then Trinavarta was trying to, then Krishna became very, very heavy. Again, describing one of the opulences he manifested like that. So that time, Trnavarta, because he's not able to hold anymore, so he's trying to get rid of Krishna. Like we know Putana past him also. Putana was saying, leave me child like that. But Krishna didn't leave her. Like that, here also he is holding the neck of the Trnavarta demon. So he didn't leave him anymore. So that is painful. Because in the case of his mother Yashoda, when she is heavy, she could keep him aside. Now, but the demon, he cannot keep him aside because Krishna is not leaving him. So that means he's suffering with the pain, so much pain like that. So then, actually, finally, what happens is because of that so much heavy, he could not tolerate. And then finally, he falls down on a stone slab and he dies. So it's described that he was thinking of Krishna like a stone, it seems. So because it's so heavy, it's like a mountain, it's like stone, like that he was thinking. So that's why when he fell down, he got hit by a mountain or stone slab and died like that. So something's interesting here is that this pastime here is that Krishna did not have to change his form. He didn't have to become big to fight with the demon, like we discussed in other pastime. And then he could manifest any opulences anytime he likes. So that's the other thing we can see here. And then he does according to his desires what he wants to do. So that's why he came from the hands of Mother Yashoda and he allowed Trnavarta to lift him so that he can enjoy a joyful ride. Actually, in this section and many sections in the 10th canto, Krishna is described as enjoying these pastimes. For us and Brajvasis, it feels like Krishna is in anxiety. Oh my God, Krishna is in trouble like that. But he's actually enjoying the pastimes. That's how it's described. So that obviously there are many reasons he does pastimes. One of them is to encourage the demons. Second is to protect the devotees we commonly hear. And then also to enjoy also. It gives pleasure to him like that. So that's the other thing to nicely see in this pastimes. So now, when the demon came, whole area was filled with dust, and then nobody can see each other, right? That time, all the Brajavasis were very anxious. First of all, whenever such difficulty comes, all the Brajavasis, first they turn to Krishna itself, because they want to make sure Krishna is safe first. That is their love they have. That is the heart of Brajavasis, like that. So they're making sure any disturbance comes, they first want to make sure, is Krishna safe? Generally, parents also do that. Generally, even this world we see. Whenever something disturbance comes, is my child safe? First, they make sure the child is sitting safe. Child is safe like that. So similarly, their Brajavasis have so much love for Krishna that they want to make sure that Krishna is safe. But the difficult part for them was they cannot make sure because they're not able to see Krishna because of the so much dust storm is there everywhere. And not only that, they cannot share even distress with each other. Normally, when we have difficulty, when we share with a friend, then our distress will reduce a little bit. But in this case, they could not even share the distress with them. So they could not see Krishna and they were also in distress. So Acharyas describe, the verse talks about Raja and Tamas, like that it talks about. I am not able to find that particular verse now. Basically, I remember the principle. The principle is that Raja has two meanings: mode of passion, and then we call Raj like that. That means dust of Vrindavan. I believe it's a Hindi term, right? Raj. That's a dust of Vrindavan. So the dust is covering everybody, but it also can be taken as mode of passion itself. And similarly, Tamasa is a darkness created because of the dust storm by Trnavarta demon. But Tamasa we also know as mode of ignorance. So when we are affected by mode of passion and mode of ignorance, then we cannot see things clearly, that we know, and we cannot see Krishna also. That means, as devotees, if we cultivate and encourage mode of passion, mode of ignorance in our life, then we will be distant from Krishna. We cannot see Krishna. So that's the other lesson we can take. And what is the antidote we discussed? That we need to at least cultivate mode of goodness. So we can cultivate Krishna and be in constant touch with Krishna like that. So one more thing we know from Srimad Bhagavatam itself, that one of the ways to do that is not only the physical activities like cleanliness, doing it regulation like that we discussed. Bhakti itself is so beautiful. It helps us to develop mode of goodness also. Like we hear in the Bhagavatam first and second chapter, right? That mode of passion, mode of ignorance, that effects will come down just by doing bhakti, just by hearing Bhagavatam like that, just by hearing Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha is so magnanimous. Just by hearing Krishna Katha, we can get purified in so many ways like that. And not only that, Krishna will be established in our heart. So that's the ultimate benediction. This mode of goodness is just temporary. So that's the other thing. So that's the other lesson we can learn from this pastime like that. So now, another point mentioned in the purport here for 29th verse is that externally the Vrajvasis seem to be in distress, seem to be so much anxiety. But actually they are such a pure devotees, even that distress is a manifestation of their ecstasy, it seems. For them it is an ecstasy. In fact, even Ramayana is described how Lord Rama and Sita, they were in separation. So they were in anxiety from our point of view. But actually, they are also enjoying spiritual bliss at that time, it seems. That's a form of ecstasy, it seems. That's how Acharya is described. Similar to that, same point is being mentioned in this purport also like that. So now, after the Trnavarta was died, right? And similar to the past time we heard about Putana, I think somebody is covering Putana pastime coming up, I think, right? I forgot. Somebody is covering Putana pastime, maybe tomorrow also. So in Putana pastime, what happens is when the Putana demon dies, Krishna is still playing on top of her body. So similarly, Trnavarta is still having fun on top of his body, Trnavarta demon's body. So that time, all the gopis come and they all come and take care of Krishna. So our Acharyas describe, they did not become fearful. Oh my God, I don't know if this demon is really dead or not. If he wakes up and catches me, what will happen to me? They did not worry about themselves like that. They just wanted to, they have so much love for Krishna, they just want to go and take the Krishna away from the demon. So they didn't care about their selfish thing, what will happen to me, like that. That is the symptom of highest love. Obviously, we cannot imitate that, but we can understand what is the highest love we can aspire for. And we can cultivate in our own life in limited ways, how we can observe where am I working, where am I acting selfishly, where am I acting selflessly in service of Krishna. We can observe in our own life. That way, selfless service not only gives happiness at the material level, selfless service is pleasing to Krishna. Because Krishna allows us to help each other. So when practicing devotees help each other in different circumstances, it can be even material things. Somebody is going through some difficulty. Somebody is going through some health issue. So we can help them whatever we can. Of course, we cannot help everyone with their pain, but whatever practical way we can help each other. And then if somebody needs some help in doing sadhana or some service, we help each other. That way, we can all grow together like that. That's another lesson we can learn from here also. So living, observing selfishness and try to develop selfless love and selfless service mode. In fact, devotional service in one sense is transforming our enjoying mode to the service mode in one sense. So we can, one of the ways, there are several barometers for us to see how we are growing in devotional service. One of the barometer is how much my enjoying tendency is going down, how much my service tendency is increasing. That's also observation we can make. It's not just because I know so many slokas, I know so many pastimes. That's not the main thing. Main thing is the service mode, how much service mode we're developing for Krishna like that. So that's another thing we can learn from here. Now, gopis and cowherd boys, when they got Krishna, they were very, very happy, it's described. Oh, this is another nice verse also. Okay, so basically this verse is saying that, okay, this is the reaction of the gopis and the gopas and all the cowherd men and women like that. After Krishna was saved like this, right? They were thinking, oh, it's most astonishing how this innocent child was taken away by Rakshasa. Rakshasa means man-eater actually. This Trnavarta demon is called a man-eating demon. Not all demons eat men, it seems. But this demon happens to be man-eater. That's how it's described. So he returned without being killed and without being injured also. That is as surprising for them. How did that happen? So now they say, they're trying to reason why that happened, basically in next set of verses. One reasoning they give is, this demon was envious, cruel, and sinful. So he has been killed by his own sinful activity. So when we do bad, we reap bad. Like that. When we do sinful activities, we get the reaction for that. That's their logic. So they're saying this is the law of nature. Makes sense, right? Karma. Okay, then an innocent devotee is always protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And a sinful person is always vanquished for his sinful life. So they're considering Krishna as a devotee. For them, Krishna is not like Supreme Lord. They engage in sweet relationships with Krishna. So they don't consider Krishna's greatness. They only see Krishna's sweetness. That's the nature of love Vrajavasis have. That's why they're thinking, for innocent devotees, always protected by Krishna, like that. Supreme Lord. For them, Supreme Lord is Narayana. Right? So now, in the purport, this Prabhupada purport, saying Krishna conscious life means innocent devotional life. And a sadhu is one who's fully devoted to Krishna, like that is saying. So Prabhupada is writing one wonderful point here in the purport. That is, that because of our lust and a desire for enjoyment in the material life, we do lots of sinful activity. So that is contrasting. Because of that, fear will manifest in the material life. That's why, even though when we're not having Krishna in our center of lives, even though we may get so much money, so much position, everything, but we still be having fearful. It's described, mode of passion causes problems in multiple ways. One is, mode of passion is characterized by hankering, right? That means, I want to get that, I want to get that, I want to get that. It will only increase. What I want to get will only increase because of greed. So I'm in pain while trying to get something also, number one. After getting it, I'm in pain trying to maintain it. That means, I don't know whether this will go away, this will go away, this will go away, like that. Because we might go to a higher position. Then naturally, people, what I do is they increase the living standards also. Then now, they get a smaller job, they cannot cope with it because they increase the standard of living also already. So that means they're fearful. I want to keep this position. So I want to keep this position like that. So while getting it, they're in pain, suffering. After they get it, they're suffering. And then material world, one of the nature is dukkhalayam asashritam, right? So whatever material gain we get is not permanent. It's temporary. So after some time, whether it's few minutes, few hours, few days, few weeks, few months, few years, but it will go away anyway at some point of time. Even if I have riches all throughout my life, at the end of the life, everything is going away. So then I will experience suffering by eventual loss of that also. So that's what is the characteristic of mode of passion, like that. So Prabhupada is describing that is a polluted life of material existence. So, but if you engage in Sravanam, Kirtanam, so by engaging in devotion service, we can be purified of these lusty tendencies, these material desires. We can develop spiritual desires instead. So that's the point Prabhupada is saying, that our only business is to become Krishna conscious, and depend fully on Krishna for protection. Actually, in the first canto, 7th chapter, there's a beautiful sloka, 7th verse, that describes the glories of Krishna Katha actually. I think I had noted down before the session. I don't know if I have the window open. Yeah. No, I don't have it readily. But basically, I remember the sloka, the meaning of the sloka. Basically, by remembering Krishna and by serving Krishna, by just hearing Krishna Katha, and by hearing Krishna Katha and by chanting Krishna's Katha, so by Shravanam Kirtanam primarily, then all auspiciousness will come, number one, and including Soka, Moha, Bhaya. All three will go gone. Soka means lamentation. Moha means illusion. Bhaya means fear. So here Prabhupada is talking about how material life, when somebody is engaging in material life, they are so fearful. But when you engage in devotional life, all these things, fear is also going away. Bhaya is going away. Soka, Moha, Bhaya is gone. So like that, this pastime is describing now. Now, Interestingly, they don't think Krishna got saved. They don't think Krishna got saved because Krishna is great. Krishna did something, that's why he got saved. They're thinking that Nanda Maharaj and others are saying, we must previously have performed austerities for a very long time, worshipped the Supreme Lord, performed pious activities for public life, constructed public roads and wells, and also given charity. So because of our pious activities, because we did so many nice things in past life and this life, that's why this boy, although faced with death, has returned to give happiness to his relatives. So that is their innocent simplicity. They're thinking, because of our piety, this boy is protected like that. So, yeah. And then Prabhupada writes the purport that importance of austerity in controlling our desires. When we get desires, it's important to control our desires, especially as practicing devotees. And then simultaneously worship Supreme Lord. So that way we can become pious, and then even material conditions of life will be happy. So interestingly, Prabhupada is talking about simultaneously. That means it's not that I do only bhakti, everything will be taken care automatically. That is in one sense true, ultimately. But some endeavor is required from our side also to regulate our material desires, regulate our material attachments, regulate our material distractions, like that also. So this is another, there's a nice article written by, I forgot, Gurujan Prabhu, Ramdaswar Prabhu. One of them wrote an article, how Krishna consciousness is not automatic. You remember that? It's not an automatic process. Meaning, many times we hear Krishna consciousness is automatic process. What does that automatic mean? That white paper analyzes it actually. Automatic doesn't mean everything falls from the sky. Automatic means while we practice devotion service, we'll cultivate love for Krishna. We'll develop some attraction for Krishna. We'll develop some attraction for service to Krishna. We're getting purified naturally. Through that, we want to become nice. We want to become kind. We want to become clean. To serve Krishna, we want to become clean because Krishna likes it. So we want to be nice to others because Krishna likes it. We want to help others to chant Krishna's name because Krishna likes it. So because of this aspect of bhakti that I want to please Krishna, that's why everything automatically gets going. But that doesn't mean I don't observe what bad qualities I have, what good qualities I need to cultivate, what good qualities I can learn from Rajavasis. Like that, we need to be observant also. And we need to make our endeavor. When we make our endeavor, basically when we desire, remember even super soul, our sanctions our desires based on how much we deserve. So Krishna is also like that. We cultivate nice desires and we act according to our capacity, and then Krishna will help us to make that success. So similarly, when we read Bhagavatam, when we hear Bhagavatam, one of the beautiful things is we develop aspirations for nice desires, spiritual desires will develop. So not only material desires is going away, but spiritual desires will develop. Seeing Brajavasis, for example, Brajavasis are always chanting Krishna's Leelas. So that Adakshi Prabhu was saying, Mother Yashoda is chanting butter, but she's singing Krishna's pastimes by making poems. So, and thinking about Krishna with her mind he was describing. So like that, we can learn from others. Oh, it's important to remember Krishna while doing service. It's nice to always glorify Krishna, always do Shravanam Kirtana. Like that, we'll develop some aspirations when we're hearing Bhagavatam like that. So that's another point here, that they were so innocent that they were thinking their piety saved Krishna like that. So now, okay, the pastime ends here and it goes to relations. Oh, this goes to another short pastime where Mother Yashoda sees short universal form, short pastime in the mouth of Krishna. There's another pastime coming up again, seeing the universal form of Krishna. That's another thing here. So one of the lessons, I want to look at my notes because Gauranga Darshan Prabhu was saying some lessons we can learn from this pastime. He was saying, first of all, he was sharing about this pastime, Trnavarta. Remember, each demon represents something we're talking about. Putana represents pseudo guru or false guru, like that we're talking about. So this demon represents the false pride of material scholarship, it seems. That means I may be so learned, I studied so much, whether it's material education or even our devotional literature. That should not lead to being proud. So that's the point. So if you remember, when you become proud, we fall down. So there's some English thing, right? Pride comes before the fall. Pride comes before fall, like that, right? So Trnavarta went so high, but he fell down. Like that, when our pride goes up like that, we'll also fall down. So that's something to watch out for, even as practicing devotees, whether we get some material scholarship, material accomplishments, or even so-called spiritual accomplishment. I know so many slokas, I know so many pastimes, I know so many things, I study so many books. Even that should not result in pride. Actually, when we study scripture, that should result in transformation of our character. And then that should lead to developing love for Krishna. But if it's resulting in getting proud, becoming proud, we might as well not read. So that's the other thing. But how do we guard against that? We read and hear under the guidance of a bona fide guru or bona fide devotees. Then we don't become proud. Then we can learn lessons all the time. How Krishna loves humility. Krishna loves people who are humble. And humility is an essential characteristic to learn anything also. Because if I'm proud, I cannot learn from anyone. Only if I know that I don't know everything, then I'll hear from somebody. Otherwise, we'll not hear anything. So then where is the growth in Krishna consciousness? So that is why, that's one lesson we can learn. Gauranga Darshan Prabhu was describing about it in this past time. And then, so we can maintain humility to avoid the false pride. Then Krishna is very happy. So how do we maintain humility? We understand what does humility mean. Well, like for any quality you develop, we understand what does that quality mean. And then we take some practical steps to develop qualities while praying to Krishna for helping us to develop that quality. And for what purpose? To please him only. Because when you go before Krishna, Krishna is pleased with our qualities. It's described, my Guru Maharaj describes that when we decorate Krishna nicely, a deity form of Krishna, then he decorates the devotees with good qualities. So, because Krishna likes them. In fact, Chaitanya Charitamrita also describes when gopis go before Krishna, they dress themselves so that they want to make Krishna happy. And when they see Krishna's face happy, they become even more happier. When Krishna sees gopis' face happier, Krishna becomes even more happier. So this happiness keeps on growing in spiritual world. That's why we hear spiritual world, the happiness is unlimited and eternally growing. It's not like stagnant. This is the bar of happiness like that. So that's the beauty of Krishna consciousness and Krishna Prema. Actually, these are higher levels of Krishna Prema. So now Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, I'll end with this one. So Gauranga Darshan Prabhu was describing briefly about the past life of Trnavarta demon. He was saying, I did not catch all the names. Sahasra Aksha was his name, it seems. And he was performing similar to Nalakuvar and Manigriva. He was enjoying with women, being naked in the water, it seems. So that's what he was doing. At that time, great sage Durvasa Muni happens to come there. So when Durvasa Muni came, this guy did not care about anything. This Sahasraksha did not care to respect him. Generally, when a Brahmana or a great saintly personality comes, we hear even Krishna. Prabhu will cover Sudama past time. I'm eager to hear that. So when Sudama Brahmana comes to Krishna, Krishna gets up from his seat. He goes to welcome him. He worships him. He washes his feet. He puts the water from his feet on his head. Krishna himself is treating like that. So what about ordinary people like us? So this guy did not bother about Durvasa Muni's arrival also. So Durvasa Muni castrates him that he will become a whirlwind like this. But then he also gave a benediction that Krishna will save him. So because this guy, Sahasraksha, repented for his mistake and he prayed to Durvasa Muni, please relieve me from the curse also like that. Then he gave a benediction that Krishna will personally save you like that. So yeah. So basically, that is the background of how Trnavarta came. Actually, Gauradarshan Prabhu was describing, he was also practicing devotee. But he, because of behaving like this to a great saint, that's what it caused this. So that means we also need to be careful with how we interact with each other, how we treat senior devotees, how we treat saintly personalities is very, very important for us also. In fact, Vaishnava Aparadha is one of the most important things we need to guard us against each other. Because it's very easy in the Kali Yuga. I'm looking at you like this, you'll think, okay, why is he looking at this? He is angry at me. I may not be angry at you. Like that, simple things will come for nothing. So we need to be very careful, not assuming ill intention from other side. We should always give a benefit of doubt. Maybe his wife is not happy with him. Maybe his husband is not happy. Maybe his boss is not happy today. Whatever that is, not because of me. It's okay. Like that, we need to not assume ill intention. Have a nice Vaishnava relationships. Always develop appreciation for each devotee we see. When we have appreciation for the others, when we have a lot of appreciation for others, when they make a small mistake, we can discount it. But when I don't appreciate anything, there is a mistake, then it's a big thing for us. That's why we need to always cultivate appreciation for devotees. Then small thing is okay. Like marriage, right? We make a lot of positive deposits. And then sometimes we scold each other, it's okay. It will go away. But if you don't make positive deposits in loving exchanges, then this will become the biggest thing. Then that will destroy all relationships. So I'll pause there. That was a Trnavarta demon. We heard about the pastime and some lessons from it. Any comments or questions from this pastime, please feel free to share. Or anything else anybody would like to add also, please feel free to add.
Some demons' names they will follow with Asura. Is there a significance?
Oh, I never heard anything about from a devotees about that topic too. I never heard. Interesting, yes, right.
You mentioned he's not Asura. He's basically is similar to the person who was killed by Bhima. What is it?
Jarasandha?
Not Jarasandha.
Hidimba.
Yeah, in the forest.
Hidimba, I think.
Not Hidimba. He's a human male form.
Oh.
Hidimba, yeah, Hidimba also similar.
Okay.
They all.
He went with the cart and killed that one?
Yeah. Mayasu.
Okay.
Oh,
Bakasura we remember, I think. Yeah, I don't remember the name.
Mayasu, just take out Maya, it comes to that.
Good. Yeah, I not heard anything though. Whenever we get such understanding or such thought, we keep that in parking lot till we hear from a devotee or till we read in scripture, right? That we know, yeah. So it may be meaningful, logical, and everything okay, but it's in parking lot. I don't accept it in my heart. So I didn't hear anything. Yeah, go ahead.
मैंने ऐसे भी सुना था पहले कोई कथा में कि माता यशोदा ने कृष्ण को सकट के नीचे रख दिया और अपने काम धंधे में व्यस्त हो गए। भूल गए भगवान। तो घर को पूरा सजाना बनाना, बड़ा सा फेस्टिवल हो रहा है, नहीं तो बहुत हो रहा है, सब कुछ हो रहा है, लेकिन भगवान को कोई ध्यान नहीं दिया। तो भगवान ने सोचा कि मेरे लिए उत्सव हो रहा है और मुझे भूल करके ये सब इतना बिजी हो गए, तो मुझे भी कुछ करना चाहिए, जस्ट टू गेट देयर अटेंशन। ओह, 5-6 मार दिया और चक्का गिर गया।
ओके।
तो असुर उसके अंदर था, उसका नाम कुछ और है, असुर का नाम भी है।
ओके, भागवतम doesn't describe the name, yeah.
असुर तो सकट में बैठा था।
In that form he came, yeah.
असुर बैठा था उस सकट के अंदर, इसीलिए उसका नाम सक्टासुर हो गया।
Got it.
उसका नाम है कुछ।
Got it.
तो भगवान यहाँ पर ये बताना चाहते हैं कि सब कुछ मेरे लिए करते हो, पर मुझे भूलो मत। भूल जाओगे तो फिर मुझे याद दिलाना पड़ेगा। तो याद जब दिलाए भगवान तो बहुत कुछ बर्बाद हो गया ना। दही दूध मक्खन सब बर्बादी हो जाती है।
Yes, yes.
तो मैया को याद दिलाने के लिए, टेंशन लेने के लिए दौड़ के आए सब लोग।
Yes, yes.
सब लोग दौड़ के आए कृष्ण को, क्या हुआ।
Yeah, nice, true. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, for those who don't understand Hindi, so Prabhu was talking about the Sekatasura pastime where Mother Yashoda kept Krishna under the cart, And then she was doing all sorts of duties to celebrate festival for Krishna only. But Krishna wanted to show that you can do everything for me, but you need to pay attention to me also. So she didn't pay attention. So she's teaching a lesson by kicking the cart so that everything fell down. Everybody's attention is on Krishna and all like that.
And before that, he was crying.
Mm.
He was crying, but everybody is busy.
Ah.
And when the baby cried, both legs, they just
Yeah.
up and down, they do it like this.
Yes.
So later on, all this, the boys, friend of Krishna, they told her,
Yes.
Mother Yasoda, that she asked, who did this? How it happened?
Mm.
They said Krishna did it.
Mm.
But they didn't believe that.
Didn't believe, yeah.
And they don't want to believe that because Krishna did it.
They want to believe only sweetness of Krishna.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Krishna naturally just pushed that card
Mm.
and brought down.
Nice, true. Yeah, thank you. And then actually, Radhesham Prabhu was describing another Acharya commentary also on the same topic, that Shakatasura was in the form of a demon. He was trying to kill Krishna. So Krishna is so merciful that he thought, oh, this demon wants to approach me in the form of demon to kill me. In the name of killing, he wants to approach me. Okay, let me go towards him. So he lifted his hand, lifted his feet to touch him, and let me give him liberation, like that. That's another passion. Multiple explanations are there. So there is a merciful nature of Krishna like that.
And one more thing, what is that then if Krishna Bhakti is not automatic?
Automatic means?
Automatic means.
Or
What is the meaning of automatic?
that's what I was trying to explain. That means we need to do something on our side also. Like sometimes, for example, automatic example I'm remembering is, I put a $1 note in a vending machine. I get a Coke. Okay. That is automatic in my view. Okay. Makes sense?
But that is also said by somebody.
Yeah, said by somebody, but still is automatically coming. I don't need to do any endeavor. From my side, I don't need to endeavor other than putting the $1 note, right? Then it's coming out. Some people have the misunderstanding that I just do my chanting 16 rounds, 4 regular principles. I can be angry at everybody. Everybody I see, I can shout at them. I can do whatever nonsense I want. But automatically, I will go back to Godhead. That is the misunderstanding I'm talking about. So, Krishna conscious process. Remember, we have verses that says, by bhakti, all good qualities come. So it's not this, right? Yeah, but how is it happening? Because of I'm trying to please Krishna with bhakti. That's why I'm making some endeavor. Exactly.
Then the other quality will come.
Correct. So that means, and also other qualities to come, I need to do some endeavor also myself. I need to desire them first. I need to make some endeavor how to get them. I need to associate with the right people who have that quality. It's not automatic that I sit in the home, I'm chanting, everything will come. That's what I mean, not automatic. That white paper also is nice. I will send it to you. Also, you can, if you get time to read it.
This is same as the quality of paying too much attention to the rules and regulations as opposed to the goal. What you're describing is
in one sense, right? Niyamagraha like that, right? In one sense.
They're not worried about the goal, they're just worried about
it. Feels good in one sense because somebody has so much faith that bhakti will take care of everything. It's good in one sense. But then it's also dangerous in another sense that I'll become relaxed, lazy. I don't do anything on my endeavor side. Any other comments or questions? Okay, we can end here and a couple of minutes we'll start the Aarti. Srimadbhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, sorry, question? Sorry. Gaurangamati. Yes.
Like he probably was saying, like some demons don't have a surah in it, like Kamsa. He doesn't have a surah in his name. But Kamsa, we read in Krishna book that he was thinking of Krishna 24 hours a day.
Yes.
So what is Kamsa's relationship? Is he like a demon? How do we, is he, he's not a surah, his name was not a surah. Is he a surah? Because he was thinking of 24 hours a day about Krishna, but in a negative way.
Yes. Actually, thank you for bringing up that. In that section in the Krishna book and also Bhagavatam, that particular chapter, Prabhupada answers that. He says, even though he's constantly thinking about Krishna in an enmical way, So that's not favorable to Krishna, favorable to bhakti. So that's why he is not a devotee. He is a asura because of that. A devotee means he is thinking favorably of Krishna. So that's why it's clear. But that benefited him though still. That benefited him. So Krishna gave him liberation also. Like that.
So in that case, there is so many demons, they are not sura. Ramana, Hiranyakashipu, there is no sura in them.
Yeah, but correct. But Krishna gives merciful.
Because their mentality is to kill Krishna.
Yes.
That's
Yes. Yes. Yes.
positive thing.
Yes. Correct. Okay, srimadbhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Radha Madhav ki jai, Trnavarta Sundar ki jai, Nitya Gaur Sundar ki jai.
All the suras.
Thank you, devotees on the Zoom call. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.